What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. Want to thank my sponsor, Steel Supplements. Link and discount code down in the description, and you don't even have to buy anything. They give you their supplements, a towel, a shirt, a shaker cup, whatever you want to go pick out, free of charge. All you got to do is pay shipping, guys. It's like $10 to ship these things out. Go to the website, search the word bundle, and you'll see a whole bunch of free things for you to choose from. Again, just pay shipping. Let's talk about my biggest frustration with Madden. Experience game day like never before with Madden 21 Next Gen. This is how they act once the game's released, obviously available now as it indicates. Let's talk about where they were before the game released, because I wanted to capture this exact moment. Next Generation Madden NFL Field Game Day, featuring next-gen player movement, fueled by real-world next-gen stats and authentic new environments, right? And they show footwork here, right? There's a reason they're showing players backpedaling and doing cuts. It's because they're trying to sell you this next generation of player movement and that it's fueled by real NFL stats, right? Real players, but it's not. When you get the game, I'm blown away this is next-gen Madden. Watch the footwork here. Look at, if you slow it down, it's awful. Look at how this player is just gliding. Where is the next gen in this? Nowhere. It's nowhere to be found. I don't know what your expectation was for next gen player movement, but I know it was to remove so much of the shifting, the warping, the sliding, and actually have footwork that matters, right? Actually have weight, and I understand for people that have played it. I have played it myself. I understand people say, well, the weight is there. The game does feel less responsive to some, but more weighted to others. But that's the problem, right? How they make the game visually look when they darken the screens, how they make the game visually feel when they adjust your controller input, that doesn't matter as much as how, when you look at the actual play, do they really truly move? They can dumb down your controller, they can dim your screen all they want. And to some people, you'll sit there and say, hey, this is a different experience. I'm getting a different response from the controller, and I'm having a different visual when I look at the game. But when you get past that, and this is the big issue with EA, when you get past that 5, 10, 15 minutes, maybe even a full game, right? When you look at what happens on the field, you instantly recognize it's the same game that you've been playing. That's when you turn the console off. That's when you feel like the game isn't giving you replay value. That's when you're done playing it, right? And that's the problem. EA sits here and tells us, next gen experience, go download it now. They sell us new gameplay, never before, realistic player movement. And then when you get the game, all it takes is the first drive of the game to get a player down to the goal line. Let me ask you something. Why is Twitter not flooded right now, the first week of this game's release? Why is Twitter not flooded with some of the most unbelievably intelligent video game football players ever? Why is EA not taking this masterpiece of a game that they claim they built and sold to us and showing us defensive players making intelligent reads on receivers? Defensive players making intelligent pursuit angles to ball carriers. Or better yet, the selling point, remember? Players that knew where the first down marker was, that knew where the goal line was. Because when I look at footwork like this, I don't see a player that's reacting to what the goal line is doing. I don't see a player reacting to anything except sliding in and out of animations. And that was one of the big things that as a community we've been so vocal with EA. Get rid of all the animations. Give us more user control. Bring skill back into this game by removing so many of the animations. And they just can't do it. Right? Even with this real-world player data that they've hyped, they still can't provide us a quality product. And I would say a true NFL experience. We all know it, guys. Listen, when players run around in the field, they're not looking for animations. When a player doesn't catch a pass, he doesn't get up, look at his hands, and say, man, why didn't I get that animation? He says, hey, I wasn't athletic enough. I didn't get high enough. I didn't high point the ball. I didn't secure the ball. right? I didn't move to where I needed to go. Madden does not give us that movement, and they haven't for a long time. And it seems like, unfortunately, we're going to continue to have that happen. And if you go back to my earlier videos, I said, I don't understand how RFID tags in the actual pads are going to affect the footwork. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. The footwork has been the problem in Madden for the longest time, offensively and defensively. Tracking players' shoulder pads to get acceleration and movement is not fixing that problem. The only thing that's going to fix that problem is something EA is known not to do. Work hard. Work hard, go to the motion capture studio that you own, biggest one in the world, capture the footage that you need, and then sit down and implement it into the game. When you've done that, tell me that. Tell me that you've rebuilt player movement. Because I've heard all the taglines. 2 times the control. Next-gen RFID tags. Player movement recorded at stadiums. Thousands of animations. Guys, we've all heard it. But the problem is we hear it. We hear it, but we don't actually get it in the game. For a company whose slogan used to be EA Sports, it's in the game, they have become the champion of not putting it in the game. We're not asking for a lot, right? We're not asking them to innovate. I'm not asking them to create a system. No one is saying, hey, can you create a complete system of dynamic player movements for us that every player, based on their height, their weight, their position, and their skill, moves independently of each other? All we're asking is, hey, can we get footwork consistent for a tight end, a wide receiver, running back? Can we get footwork consistent for a defensive back and a linebacker? Right? Go back to Backbreaker. Backbreaker actually had a system that I wouldn't say was revolutionary, but they had a system that had players get rated as to how their form was for that specific game. It took into consideration that sometimes players have great games. Other times players have bad games. And there's no real rhyme or reason. So to create an independent variable within 2 teams playing each other, to make games feel unique, to make players feel separate, they decided to include form. This impacts every play of every week of every NFL game. EA doesn't begin to master this. Instead, they just continue to go through the same exact motions, except they sell us more and more and more, and then deliver us. I hate to say it's less of a product, because if we're being fair, it's not lesser of a product. It's just the same product. It's not that they're giving us less. It's that they're just giving us the same thing. We can joke about copy and paste and copy and paste and copy and paste, but they literally went to next gen on a pure copy and paste. We've all seen the game. Many of us have played the game. What changed was the play calling screen and some, I stress some, of the user interface. The sideline interactions and the crowds. If you're telling me, as a gamer, I need to move to the next generation of consoles for that, you're out of your mind. When real games go to a next-gen console, they're maxing out the capacity that they have. They're making the most of the game. EA, not just Madden, EA has a track record of not doing that. And that's why earlier in the week, when people were like, you need to speak about, the people that are at EA that are frustrated, they're upset. Listen, I don't know how these people go in and work in this game. I don't know how they can be proud of the product and the effort. Right? Where I come from, if you're not satisfied with what you're doing in your life, then you go somewhere else. I don't care about these people sitting here and telling you we're doing and saying everything we can, but it's not within our control. Then you know what? Go work somewhere where it's in your control. Better yourself and your situation. Because we're all trying to better your product for you. So don't tell us you can't do anything. If you can't do anything, then maybe you don't need to be working there. Because you're the one putting the voice and the name on the promises that aren't being delivered. And sooner or later, you got to have enough personal pride for yourself to stand up and say, listen, I'm not going to continue to make these promises that other people can't keep. Because the legacy of Madden the last 20 years has been unfulfilled promises and disappointed gamers. And right now, the way things are, it's not going to get any better, no matter what happens, until a better game is on the market. Love to know your guys' thoughts on this. Appreciate you checking it out. And you know I will be back in the week with more commentary.